Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll be talking about the managerial shenanigans going on at Manchester United. It looks like not only are we talking to people, but they don't even want to come to Old Trafford. Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather, it's all right, it's quite sunny. We're here today in the sunshine. Make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments, and if you've not done already, hit that subscribe button. We've got to 750,000 subscribers. Next stop, 800,000, and then the sky is the limit. So a big thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. Loads of stories to get through, so we'll crack on. The big story doing the rounds, this was doing the rounds over the weekend, it's doing the rounds today, is about Manchester United's, I don't know how you can describe this. It's almost like speed dating for managers. It feels like Manchester United are speaking to lots of different managers and nothing is coming of that. Now, we saw a story, I think it was on Saturday, I had it in my news yesterday morning, about Gareth Southgate being on a list, about the likes of Dan Ashworth and Dave Brailsford apparently are liking Gareth Southgate as a potential manager for Manchester United. Later on yesterday, the news broke that United had actually been talking to Thomas Tuchel. We saw lots of people talking about this. I think Matt Lawton had it in the Times. I think Fabrizio Romano had it. Then it transpired that Tuchel actually wasn't going to be the next Manchester United manager because he was taking a break from football. So it's just beginning to get a little bit messy, because I understand the idea of maybe looking at different options, maybe considering what you want to do moving forward. We know that the club have got this review going on. We know that the likes of Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth haven't even taken up their jobs yet. Dan Ashworth is still on gardening leave. Omar Barada, I think, takes over in July. So if they're going to have some say on the manager, then you'd expect this to take a little bit longer than perhaps a lot of fans are hoping for. However, when you see these stories, when you see we're linked with this manager, when you see we're talking to this manager, when you see this manager's not interested, or something hasn't quite worked out in those negotiations, whatever that may be. Some are saying it's that he doesn't want to go straight back into management after leaving Bayern Munich. It just looks shambolic. It does. And I don't really think this is doing United any favours. I don't think this looks great. If you're Erik Ten Hag, you've gone off on your holidays, you've just won the FA Cup, you're picking up the newspaper and you sat there, you know, on your rolls, probably in the Red Lion somewhere, eating your egg and chips, watching Only Fools and Horses. You get your English paper, because that's what you like to do, and you see on the back page, oh, United are talking to Thomas Tuchel. Disgusting. I don't know how he's going to feel about this. I don't know what the situation is with Manchester United. I just know the optics of it. I'm talking about how it looks. It looks messy. It doesn't look great. It might not be wholly true. It might be a little bit of paper talk, literally. But when you see quite credible journalists, like we've had Matt Lawton on the channel recently, I don't think he's someone who just makes stuff up. Fabrizio Romano, I know a lot of people hate on him, but he is pretty reliable still. He's still tier one. When they're saying, look, United spoke to Tuchel and Tuchel's not having it, you've got to think there's some fire to that smoke. So I just feel like United are letting this drag on a little bit. It's not even the case of dragging it on. I don't mind that, but I get it. I said this yesterday. I understand the fact that you maybe can't make a quick decision if your CEO and the person you want to come in as director of football or whatever he's going to be hasn't come in yet. I understand that. That may take a little bit of time. But when you've got these reports about you talking to this manager, talking to that manager, you're considering this manager's not interested, it's just from the sort of the media perspective and the optics side of things, it doesn't look good. It feels like a sort of Glazer move rather than an INEOS move. I thought this was going to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more cloak and dagger perhaps, and it hasn't been that way so far. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I was saying a few weeks ago, if we had to get rid of Erik Ten Hag, which I didn't want to do, then someone like Kieran McKenna could be an outside punt. He, however, signed a new deal at Ipswich. Then I was saying, if you're looking at CVs and who's got the most successful CV and who's most likely to win your silverware, Thomas Tuchel could be the answer. Now, he's not available. We're running out of options that are looking good. I think that the other options on the table, maybe you can look at someone like Mauricio Pochettino. I don't see him winning things at Manchester United. He didn't win anything at Spurs. He didn't win anything at Chelsea. I know Chelsea was a bit of a bin fire. But is he a manager that's going to win you silverware? I mean, he finished third in a two-horse race. He finished second in a one-horse race in France in his first season. I know he took over when they were in second, but come on, there was enough time left there for him to win the league at PSG that first season. I know he won it in his second. So I don't look at him as a manager who's going to come here and win trophies. I certainly don't see him doing what Erik Ten Hag has done and winning back-to-back trophies. Now, I know the league form here under Erik Ten Hag has been poor, but do I really think Mauricio Pochettino is going to be the answer to our problems? No, I don't. Who else is that? De Zerbi? What's going on there? That's all been a bit weird. Apparently someone paid Brighton some money for him. Who is that? Is that Manchester United? If it is, why are we talking to Thomas Tuchel? Doesn't seem like it is. None of this makes any sense. Why don't we just stick with Erik Ten Hag? That would be my solution to this shambles. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. Talking of shambles, the Jadon Sancho situation doesn't seem like it's getting resolved anytime soon. There's a few reports doing the rounds. I think I've seen it in the BBC. We reported it yesterday, actually. I think Simon Stone had this as well, saying that Manchester United are willing to take 40 million for Jadon Sancho. Bit of a cut price deal considering we spent 73 million quid on him only a few years ago. However, despite his exploits in the first leg of the semi-final against PSG, I don't think his time at Dortmund has made everyone want him. Dortmund don't even want him, really. I know they're saying, oh, we'd like to have him, but they're not going to pay 40 million quid for him, so they can't be that keen. Jadon Sancho looks like he wants to move on, regardless of who the manager's going to be next season, whether that's going to be Erik Ten Hag or someone else. It looks like the club are willing to move him on. It would make sense if he did move on. Are we going to get 40 million quid from him? You think so? I know his stock isn't exactly high now, but he has just been to a Champions League final. It wasn't that long ago that he was one of the most sought-after attackers in the world. I think in his last season at Dortmund, he's at 36 goal involvements in 39 games, won them the German Cup, helped get them into the Champions League. He's not a bad footballer. It's just there's question marks there, isn't there? But I think you should be able to get 40 million quid for a player that's still relatively young. What is he, 24 years old, 23, 24? Something like that. Yeah, I'd be surprised if United couldn't get 40 million. And I think that's a happy sort of solution to the problem. He goes on to a different club for a pretty cut price, and United at least get something for him. Let me know what you think about that move. Talking of moves, Manchester United are now being linked with Eze from Crystal Palace. We've been linked with Elise, now being linked with Eze. This was in the Daily Mail, doing the rounds over the weekend. Listen, we're being linked with a lot of players from Crystal Palace. Eze, Elise, Mark Guéhi. We can't buy them all. Crystal Palace aren't going to go and just go, yeah, what do you want, half our team? Yeah, no dramas. And also, we aren't going to dough for all this as well. I saw someone else saying we should go for Adam Wharton. We're just going to buy Crystal Palace. Why don't we just buy the club and just have all their players? That'd solve the problem, wouldn't it? I mean, there's only a finite number of players you can get from one club, and usually it's just one per transfer window. Premier League clubs don't tend to sell 2 players in a window to another Premier League club. It just doesn't seem to happen. So the Elise rumours look like the strongest ones. Maybe there is something in some of the others, but we'll have to wait and see. You've got to look at your priorities. And at the minute, I think United have got... The trouble with United, we've got about 8 priorities. I think we need a centre-back desperately. Probably need 2. We need a CDM desperately. We need another striker desperately. I think we need a left-back. Talking of left-backs, Luke Shaw was speaking to the press over the weekend as well. And he said it's not solely his fault and it's not the club's fault about his injuries. It's a bit of both. And he says if the manager asks him to play, he's going to play. He was talking about how he wasn't fully match fit for the Luton game. I think it was when he came off at half-time. Hence the reason he's not been able to play at the back end of the season. Listen, I like Luke Shaw, he's a good player, but you look at his injury record over the last 5 years, he's missed half the games. You can't rely on him because of his injuries. When he plays, he's very good. But if you've got a player that's out all the time, and you've got another left-back who's been out for one of the 2 seasons he's been at the club, you've got another left-back in Harry Hamas, who's only just turned 17, I think you need a left-back. I do. And people are like, oh, Jay, we need this, that, and the other. Well, we need all these things. So, listen, I'm going to stop it there before I start ranting. I'm going to be back later on today with a Paddock podcast. Me, Joe, Ronaldo Brown. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk. It's getting a bit chilly outside Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.